Come on over to your space, whatever that looks like for you, coming to our yoga mat. I'm using a blanket right underneath my glutes. That kind of helps me kind of prop up a little bit, and then that gets that interior tilt of my pelvis so I can grow a little taller in the spine. I have 2 blocks handy that you can use at home if you don't have yoga blocks. There's a lot of creative things that you can come up with, like books, or even couch pillow cushions. Those are always nice too. Just something sometimes to utilize to bring the earth up to you when it's feeling a little further away. The other thing, just a quick reminder, is honor your body. Listen to it. If there's something that is not feeling right for you, please don't go there, or I will offer some modifications. Try it out. And that said, if there are some things that you're like, you know, a little afraid and backing off of a pose because you might have something mentally that you're thinking, I can't do warrior 2, I've never done it. Just challenge yourself and give it a try. If it's not something that's an injury in your body, just see if maybe you want to just try it out today and maybe put that mind block aside and just give it a little bit of a challenge. The great thing is you're at home, you're practicing without mirrors. Maybe you have mirrors in your space, but you're practicing without somebody next to you. And I just, last thing that I'd like to ask of everybody is the one prop that we do not need in our practice is a gavel. We do not need to pass judgment on ourselves. We do not need to think about, oh, I used to be able to do this and now I can't. Or we don't need to think about, I guess I'm guilty of it because I was just talking about maybe some of the little bit of weight gain that I've had during COVID. Let's just put those thoughts and that judgment aside and just appreciate that we're here now and taking care of our body and honoring it. So last thing, I said last thing, but one more last thing. Just make sure you do have that blanket or that beach towel, because at the very end of our practice, we're going to utilize that for a heart opener, a little restoration. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and take the hands together. We're just going to rub them nice and fast, creating friction and heat. It's funny because I had some grapes right before class and my hands actually smell like sulfur. I don't know if you ever experienced that from grapes. Never knew this. Cotton candy grapes taste exactly like cotton candy. I thought it was just a name. Let's go ahead and create a little bit more heat, a little bit more friction. And then just draw the hands apart for just a moment. Feel that energy that you created. Then bring them back together, bringing thumbs to sternum, close the eyes down. And let's just take a few moments to breathe into the body, to arrive in our space, letting go of our day, letting go of our to-do list. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale fully. Exhale, release. Releasing Anjali Mudra. Place the palms face up on top of the knees. Hands are facing up in a state of surrender and a state of receiving. Stay here for just a few more moments, listening to the body, listening to what it needs, what it's craving. Noticing the pathway that the breath goes through. Is there a space that feels blocked or resistant to that breath? Turn the palms so that they're facing down on top of the knees. Keep the eyes shut down for a few more moments and just listen to my voice. Start to simply shift from side to side. Not a very big movement, just a little bit of a sway. Invite a tilt forward and a rock back. A few more times as if you're in a rocking chair, rocking forward and rocking back. Using these few moments to find that organic movement in the body and listening, hearing what it needs. Continue to find those sways, that rocking. Slowing everything down. Tuning within. Maybe you keep these gentle movements small. Or maybe you start to make them a little bit bigger. You intuitively know what feels good here. So listen to that intuition and move in directions that feel right. Just a few more moments exploring, checking in. When you're ready, go ahead and come up to a nice tall spine and flutter the eyes open. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up, grow tall. Exhale, cartwheel the right hand down to the earth. Left hand stretches and reaches overhead. Lower that palm down, and then we're just going to shift across the body and come around to that other side. Planting that left hand down, right hand extends and reach. Guide the chest and the palm down, swoosh across the body, and open up again, raising that left hand high. Let's do that again. Come down through to center and up and over. So this one more time on each side, and this time we're going to hold it. So come on over, planting that left or right hand down, left hand extends overhead. Go ahead and put a bend into that bottom elbow so we can get in a little bit deeper. Now bending that upper elbow, taking that thumb back. Reminding that left hip to stay down. And still using that right hand to stay tall. We're not collapsing completely over. Just feel into side body. Use that lower hand as a springboard to raise up a little bit, swish across, and come over to that other side. Extending right hand overhead now. Bend into that left elbow so we can get down a little bit deeper. Bend into that upper elbow, bringing thumb back. Just take a couple moments breathing into side body, feeling the opening into the side heart. Use that palm on the earth to support yourself and come all the way back up tall. Release the palms down and bring them to the knees. Roll shoulders up towards the ears and relax them down the back. Let's do that once more. Up towards the ears and release down the back. Holding on to the knees, start to guide that chest forward and roll back. A few more times, really getting deep into the spine as we find these seated cat-cows. Inhaling forward, exhale, round and lift. A few more times. Coming on up to that seated position, start to draw the chest over to that right knee, over to the left knee, and then up and through. So now we're making this triangular movement, but also circular in the spine as we roll around. You can start to feel this opening in the hip flexors, as well as that lower back. And just a few more rotations around. And the next time that we're upright, we'll switch directions to the other side. Matching the breath to the movement. And then come on all the way around back up to seated. We're going to come now into a kneeling position. You can use that blanket or beach towel to pad up the knees. So stacking knees right underneath the hips. We're going to stay tall here for a moment. If you just want to watch me, I'll go ahead and show you what we're going to do through this little flow here, and then you can join in. So first we're going to actually bring the hips down towards the heels, and then the palms come down towards the earth, and we shine the chest up. If this is too much of a back bend, we can just simply stay with the knees stacked under, and the palms can come right here down into a modified camel, where we're just placing the palms on top of the sacrum area. So that's option 1 is down here, and 2 is right here. So that'll be our first movement of whatever back bend of your choice. And then we'll use our strength to come back up tall into our flag position. We'll bring that left hand forward into a twist, and then up, and then right hand forward, and then back up. And this time we'll go ahead and bow down, bringing the hands towards the heels, coming into a closed like child's pose, a little rock here. Go ahead and come on up and join in with me. Inhale, sweep the hands up nice and tall. Exhale, bring the hips down towards the heels, or just stay tall and come into that modified camel. If you're coming all the way down, spend a moment shining that chest up. Tuck the chin in a little bit instead of tossing the head back. Take a couple of breaths here. Pushing off of the earth, raise all the way back up. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. Think about keeping those hip points towards the front though. Inhale, fingertips raise. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, fingertips float up. Exhale, bow this time and bring the palms behind. Forehead may not come down to the earth all the way, and you can always use that block here. We're not here for super long. Engage in the core and raise all the way back up tall. Sink the heels, bring hands behind, press the heart open. Engage in the core to raise all the way back up. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes back, hips stay towards the front. Inhale up, exhale twist. Inhale up, exhale bow, palms come behind. Once again, press all the way back up tall. Sink the heels, bring the hands behind. This is the last time. Shine the chest up. Imagine as if you're on a beach, feeling the sunshine. Press into those palms, engage in the core, raise all the way up tall. Left hand forward. Inhale up, right hand forward. Inhale up, exhale, bow down. But this time we're going to change it up a little bit. So instead of taking the hands behind, let's bring them around to the front, create a little pillow here by stacking the forearms and then resting the forehead down onto the earth. You may need to part the legs a little bit to make space for belly. We're just going to stay here for a few moments, really feeling that rounding into the back and that compression of the belly on top of the thighs. And that breath is fluid. Here for 3 more breaths. Feeling the forehead up off of that little pillow that you created. Rise up, walk the hands underneath the shoulders, and come into tabletop position. Bringing those knees underneath the hips. Let's find a few rounds of cat-cow here. Tuck the chin in towards the chest, round. Draw that tailbone back, release the belly down, peek up. Again, inhale, round into that cat. Starting at the tailbone, release the bottom back. Release the belly down. Find this back bend by peeking forward. Let's do that one more time. Tuck and round, bring it all in. Release the belly into our cow. And then meet me back into a neutral tabletop position. Drawing that left foot back and behind, tuck the toe underneath. Bring the hip up, heel up to about hip level. Keep the toe dialed down while we raise that right hand forward. Thumb is facing up. Keep stretching and reaching in those opposite directions. You've got this. Fire at the core. Keep reaching and stretching. Release the hand down, release the knee down. Drop the hips over towards that right side, and then roll over to the left, all the way up and through. Let's do that again. Drop the hips down to the right side, roll the belly across the thighs, so good for digestion, and back up and through. Last time, drop all the way down and through, and then meet me again in that tabletop position. Extending now that right foot behind, tucking toe down. Find that balance point by bringing it up, no higher than hip level. We want that nice flat back. Opposite hand extends forward, thumb is up. Keep pressing firmly into that palm that's on the earth, and keep extending that hand forward on the left side as we really extend the foot back. Press into that heel, breathe. Place the hand down, place the knee down. We're going to find those hip circles again, but let's add a little bit of a wrist to stretch. So I'm just simply going to turn so that the fingertips are pointing towards the body. And if that's too intense, just bring that pinky out to the side. So as soon as you find that hand position that's working for you, start to shift those hips over to that left side, around and through. I'm going to reposition a little bit. Going all the way around and through. Just a few more times. Coming back into that tabletop position, we're just going to walk those hands a little bit closer towards the knees and then start to pick up the wrists up off of the earth. So now we're just going to do a good stretch into the fingertips. It's pretty intense, an area of the body that doesn't get a lot of attention but deserves it. Roll back just a little bit more so you're on the tips of the fingers. And release the hands down. Come up into that kneeling position just one more time. We're gonna get off the knees, I promise. Let's just find a little wave. Reversing the direction of that wave. And then shake the hands out. Bring the handprints back down onto the earth. We start for one moment right underneath the shoulders and then walk them one handprint forward in front of the shoulders. Tuck the back toes underneath. Well, I guess we don't have front toes, but tuck the toes underneath and peel the knees up off of the earth. Hover for just a moment and then raise the hip points up towards the sky, downward facing dog. You might want to remove any props that are in the way. And just spend a few moments here finding that gentle movement like we had at the beginning of our practice. Maybe pedaling out the feet, maybe nodding the head, maybe shifting one hip up. Just playing in this down dog. When we're ready, we come into stillness for a moment, pressing those hips up, pressing the heels down, but not all the way down to the earth. It's okay if they don't land there. A lot of people think it's all about the heels, but it's not. See if you can rotate those biceps so that they're facing towards the front of the mat. That way we can release the head down a little bit more. Take a nice deep inhale here, and an exhale out. Bend the knees, start to walk the hands and the feet at the same time to the center of the mat where we meet in forward fold. And in our forward fold, go ahead and take a hold of that opposite hand into that opposite elbow and find a little bit of a gentle sway side to side. See if we can relax that chest down, that belly down to the top of the thighs. And if hamstrings are feeling tight, just put a generous bend into the knees. We're here for just a few more moments. Releasing the clasp of the elbows. Bring the hands to the top of the calves or the thighs, or shins or thighs, I should say, and find a halfway lift. Melt down, forward fold. Bend into the knees and sweep the hands all the way up, coming tall here. And then bring hands into heart center. Inhale, raise the fingertips up high. Exhale, release them down to the hips. As an inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, cactus the heart. Bring those shoulder blades together, elbows towards each other. Inhaling up. And exhale, let's do that again. Open up, shine that chest forward, knit the ribs in, but bring those elbow points together. Inhaling up. Exhale, this time dive all the way down into a forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Again, melt down, forward fold. Bend the knees and sweep up nice and tall, tall mountain. Taking a hold of that opposite hand into that opposite elbow again. Walk the legs together, really together. We're going to tick-tock over towards the left side. Jutting that hip out towards the right. Inhaling up. Exhale over to the other side. Maybe pressing that left hip out a little bit more. Inhaling up. Exhale, release the clasp of the hands. Walk the feet about shoulder width apart. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Half lift, melt down. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, and come all the way back up again. Hands come into heart center. We're going to keep that right foot forward. Left foot is going to step back, and we're going to come into our warrior two. So lining up the heels with each other, or that back arch of the foot with that front heel. Lower down, bending into the front knee, but not so far that we can't see all 5 of our toes. Press open, arms are parallel with each other, and those pinkies are pressing back. Bend into that knee a little bit more, and gaze over the front fingers. Check in with those toes and make sure we're not gripping too tight. We're just going to do a little dance here. So back arm is going to come down to back leg or lower back. We're going to reverse our warrior. Release that hand from lower back and come again into warrior two. Let's do that again. Tilt back, reversing a warrior. Keep that bend in the front knee. And back again, warrior two. One more time, tilting back, extending that right hand overhead, and then come back again into warrior two. Now straightening that front leg, but not locking the knee out. Let's lean forward. Release that palm down to the inside of the thigh, or you can use a block to kind of balance yourself here. Taking those shoulders and extending that left hand overhead. Now finding a little bit of movement here, we're going to take that upper hand and just rotate it down to touch the front hand, and then press back open. Let's do that again. Come down, palms meet each other, and then we open back up. One more time, palm comes down, and then reach overhead. Bend into the knee and come back again into warrior two. Hands come to the hips. Let's pivot the toes so we're to the wide edge of the mat. Raise fingertips up nice and tall into our 5-point star. Now we're going to lower the hands to the waistline, turning palms so that they're facing behind us. And as we bow forward into that half lift, keep those hands up. These little floating airplane hands here. Keep that belly button pulled in. Gaze is down. Tuck that chin in just a little bit more so you get that extension of the spine. Finding the opposition of pressing the palms back, shoulders away from the ears, as we really press the crown of the head towards the front. Should feel a good stretch into the hamstrings and some strengthening in that lower back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, release the palms down, release the crown of the head down. You can put a bend in the knee or shorten that stance if this is feeling like too much, and this wide-legged forward fold. Now the head is heavy. The palms are down onto the earth. And this is a great time again if we need to use those blocks or those books right underneath. Another option is to always use that block. You can take it right underneath the forehead, lining it up so it's right there with the hairline. We're here for just a few more moments, reversing the blood flow. Letting that blood really rush into the head, feeding the brain. To prevent a head rush, start to bend into each knee, just shifting side to side. And we're slow. We're we're slowly bringing hands to the top of the thighs right above the knee. And then very slowly start to straighten up, taking your time. We're still shifting side to side. Raising all the way up, feet are wide, hands raise up again, 5-point star. Release the hands down, pivot on the toes and step back again to the front of the mat. Inhaling up, exhale to cactus. Inhaling up, take a hold of that opposite hand into that opposite elbow, tilt over to the right. Inhaling up, exhale, tilt over to the left. Back to center, release the clasp of the hands, melt all the way down into a forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Melt down, forward fold. Bend the knees, press into the feet, and rise all the way up, and gentle palms into heart center. This time we're going to keep that left foot forward. Right foot's going to step out and back, lining up the heels and finding our warrior two here. Gazes over that front finger, bend into the knee a little bit more. Check in with that knee. If it starts to track into middle, see if you can press it to that pinky toe side. So our little warrior dance here. So finding our reverse warrior, bringing that back palm down to lower leg or that lower back, extending that front arm overhead. Coming back again into warrior two. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, reverse the warrior. And come back again, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, lean forward. Cartwheel the hand down to the inside of that thigh and that calf, and then extend that right hand overhead. Stacking shoulders here, and again, there is no shame. You'll get the same benefit to use that prop right inside the ankle. Hand sweeps down from above and meets the palm. Raise back up nice and tall. And then palm comes back down. Open up again. And then back down. One more time, opening up. Back down. Bending into the knee, coming again into our warrior two. Hands come to the hips. Pivot the toes so they're at the wide edge of the mat. Float the hands behind and lower into your half lift. Finding that strength here. Checking in and making sure that we are distributing the weight through all four corners of the feet, not just pressing into the heels and not just pressing into the ball joints of the foot. Palms are up, shoulders are rolled away from the ears. Tuck that chin so you can get a little bit more length in the spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, float down, wide leg, forward fold. Staying here for a few moments. Using that breath, sending it to the tight spaces in the body. Start to bend into that right knee and then into that left knee. Finding a little side lunge, side to side, not going too deep, but just getting this lateral stretch here. Bringing hands now to the top of the knees, still shifting side to side. Taking your time to straighten the spine. And come all the way back up to standing. Bring the fingertips up high, 5-point star. Release the palms down. Pivot on the feet and meet me at the front of the mat. Inhaling up. Exhale, melting down. Placing the palms onto the earth. Let's find a vinyasa. Step one foot back, then the other. Coming into down dog. Shifting forward to high plank or modified plank. Holding here for a moment. Doming the upper back. Pressing the heels back. Lower slowly all the way down to the earth. Press into the tops of the toes so much that those kneecaps come up off of the earth. And we're going to find a cobra here. Doesn't need to be super high, but keep pressing into the tops of the feet. Release the kneecaps down, press back. Bring those big toes to touch knees wide. And we're going to shift into a wide-legged child's pose. And if you'd like, you can always add a little bit of a movement, a little bit of a sway, really bringing those hips side to side, dropping that pelvis down into this nice stretch. Inhale in, exhale out. Extend the fingertips and even further. Stretch and reach a little bit more towards the front. Walk the hands back, line them up with the head, peel the forehead up off of the earth, and come into our tabletop position again. Bring the knees back underneath the hips, tuck the toes underneath, raise hips up, downward facing dog. Keeping that left foot planted down onto the earth, raise that right heel up high, three-legged dog. Open the hip, bend the knee, stack the hips over each other. Let's find 3 circles here. Knee comes around, big circles. Then extend that leg back long into that three-legged dog. Bend the knee and bring it all the way to the front of the mat. Setting ourselves up for lunge here. Bending into that back knee so we can sweep up. Coming into high lunge. Roll shoulders down the back. Sink down into those knees just a little bit more. Release hands down by the waistline and step that back foot up to meet front foot. Inhaling up. Exhale, melt forward. Halfway lift, melt down. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, come all the way back up, and then gentle palms into the heart. Right foot stays forward, left foot steps back, coming once again into that warrior 2. Sink down. We're just going to shorten this up a little bit, same things that we were doing before. Reverse the warrior. Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Lean forward. Cartwheel down. Triangle. Upper arm comes down. Swoops down to meet the hand. And then opens back up. Bend into the knee and come back again into warrior 2. Hands come to the hips. Pivot the toes, wide edge of the mat. Bringing chest to halfway lift. Palms float up, airplane arms. Inhale. Exhale, melt all the way down, forward fold. Shift side to side from knee to knee. Bring hands to the top of the thighs, still shifting side to side, knee to knee. Slowly rise all the way back up to standing. 5-point star, fingertips raise up. Hands come to the hips, pivot on the toes, step to the front of the mat. Inhaling up. Exhale, dive all the way down. Placing hands onto the earth, step one foot, then the other foot back. Roll onto the ball of the foot, come into plank pose. Yogi's choice to be in half plank or high plank. Lower all the way down to the earth. Pressing into the tops of the feet, pressing into them so much that those kneecaps come up off of the earth. Little to no weight in the hands, raising up into cobra, getting this back bend here. Keep pressing into the tops of the feet, not tossing the head back. This is all about the shoulders and that back, into that back bend. Release the tops of the knees down, palms come down, walking the knees wide, big toes to touch, shift all the way back, wide-legged child's pose, excuse me. It's a little wrong on that one. Extending those fingertips forward just a little bit more. Sinking that tailbone down towards the hips or towards the heels just a little bit more. Inhale. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale out. Start to walk the hands back, shifting back up into that tabletop position. Palms walk forward, tuck the toes, hips raise up, downward facing dog. Extending that right leg long, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, stack the hips, and let's find those 3 circles here. Keep breathing. Extend the leg long again, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, hover for a moment, then step it to the front of the mat, setting yourself up for a lunge. Take your time, bend into that back knee so you have that momentum to rise all the way up into your high lunge. Take a nice deep inhale here, and an exhale out. Release the hands down towards the hips. Step that front foot to meet, or back foot to meet front foot. Inhaling up. Exhale, bring the hands down to the hips. This time that left foot stays forward, right foot will step back, coming again into our warrior 2. Reverse the warrior. Warrior 2. Extend that leg or straighten that leg, lean forward, triangle. Upper palm comes up to meet that lower palm. Then open back again. Bend into the knee, come again into warrior 2. Hands come to the hips, pivot the toes, wide. Palms come back, chest comes forward, hover. Release the hands down. Let the head hang heavy, wide-legged forward fold. Bend into the left knee. Bend into the right knee. Couple more times, shifting side to side, staying low. Bringing hands to the top of the thighs, keep shifting side to side. And slowly taking your time to rise all the way up. Float the hands up, 5-point star. Release the hands down, pivot on the feet, and step again. Last time to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, cactus and bloom here. Inhaling up. And this time, take the arms out into a wide T. So arms are out into a wide T. We're going to find our eagle pose here. And I'll offer you two options. First, we're going to take that right hand, sweep it underneath the left hand, and cross the arms here. If this is uncomfortable at all, just take it around, keeping that right elbow underneath, and just snuggle the palms together, or the palms behind you to the shoulders, and elbow points stacked on top of each other. So whatever you're finding, whether it's traditional eagle pose or just stacking the shoulders, stay here for a moment. Pull the hands away from the face, or those elbows away from the face, and bring the hands or those elbows up towards the sky. Lower back down. Up towards the sky, then lower back down. Keeping that cross of the arms, we're just going to twist over to the right side. See if you can keep those elbows off the chest. Come back around to center, and then twist over to the left side. Coming back around to center, releasing the cross of the arms. Roll shoulders up towards the ears once. Again. One more time, up towards the ears, and then release down. Extend the hands back into that wide T. This time the left hand will come underneath, whether we're just keeping at the elbows crossing over each other, or if we are finding traditional eagle arms. Peel the hands away from the face, and then raise those elbow points up towards the sky, and lower back down. Again, up towards the sky, and lower back down. Keeping the elbows away from the chest, we're just going to twist over to the left side. Back to center, twist to the right. Back to center, release the cross of the arms, and this time let's roll those shoulders forward. Once. Again. One more time. Nice, shake it out for a moment. Inhaling up. Exhale, melt down again, forward fold. Planting the hands onto the earth, step back, downward facing dog. Last time in that plank of your choice. Hold and hover, and then release the knees down, release the chest down. Snap the elbows right underneath the shoulders and meet me in Sphinx for a moment. So we're going to walk those feet a little bit wider if you're feeling any pinching or tension in the lower back. Keep pressing those shoulders flat back and that chest forward. We're going to peek over that right shoulder. Dip the chin, draw the head across the chest, and then peek over that right shoulder. Let's do that once more on each side. Dip the chin, come across the body, and peek over that right shoulder. Release the chin to chest, and then peek over that left shoulder. Release the head back to center. We're going to bring those arms just like we had at the beginning in our closed-legged child's pose. Just create a little pillowcase here, or pillow mound, I should say. And bring the forehead to the top of those hands. We're going to turn the heels so they're facing out, and the toes are pointing towards each other. And just like a little shimmy and a shift here in the hips. Just releasing any tension in the lower back, any tension in the hips. Great. Straighten the legs back out long. Tuck the hands underneath the shoulders. We're just going to rotate around and come onto our back side. So flipping on over. Before you get down, just a quick little thing here. I want to make sure we have that blanket handy before we get totally down onto our back side. So using this blanket, I'm just going to find a little roll here. So you can roll it to the short edge or long edge of that blanket or that towel. I'm going to set mine on the other side so that you can see what I'm doing here. So come on down to the back side. Draw the knees in towards the chest and give them a little hug and squeeze here. See if you can release that tailbone down, down, down as you squeeze the knees up. Finding our stirrup pose or a happy baby, taking a hold of the knife edge of the feet, or you can just hook the peace fingers around the big toes. Ultimately, we're drawing those knees down towards the armpit chest on each side. We're just holding here for a few moments, seeing if we can release that back down and get that nice stretch and opening into the groin. Invite some gentle movement. Maybe stretching one leg while we bend the other. Finding organic movements that feel good to you. Releasing the soles of the feet. Draw the knees into the chest once more. And then taking the soles of the feet down onto the earth. All right, using that blanket. So I've got that blanket in the roll, and I'm going to actually put it underneath my sacrum area. So taking it right underneath. So the sacrum area is that little heart shape that we have right above the glutes and right below the spine. So placing it down there, just take a few moments to shift around. I'd like my buttocks, my glutes to still be down on the earth. And this isn't that natural curvature of the spine back here supporting my sacrum area. If you feel any tension or tension, just take one of those rolls out. Or if you'd like a little bit more of a back bend, just roll the blanket up a little bit more. So take a few moments to release, open up, find that space that's working for you here. We're going to go slightly deeper into this where we're starting to get into our hip flexors and our psoas area. So extending that left leg down towards the earth. And then I'm going to extend that left hand up above the head. So same arm, same foot is extending. If this feels lovely and you want to stay right here, you can do that. Or you can start to walk the hands over to the opposite side of the mat and that foot over to the opposite side. So we're creating this banana shape on that left side. Feel a good stretch and opening into the front of that hip flexor, into the IT band, side body. If this is too intense, then back up, or even just take that blanket out and just do this without the prop. A couple more deep breaths. If you have the arm and the foot arched overhead, bring it back around. Bend the knee and draw it back up and release that palm back down to the side. Let's do that on the other side. So extending the leg long and that upper arm comes up, or same arm, same knee, same arm, same leg is extended. You can stay right here. Or if you would like, start to walk the hand and walk the foot to the opposite side of the mat. Creating this half moon shape. Breathe into the body. Breathe into the stretch. If you are crossing the body, go ahead and bring the hand and bring that leg back around to center. Fold the knee, bring the hand down. Press into the feet so that you can remove the blanket from that lower back. And notice, see if you can feel a little bit more space between the earth and the spine here. We're going to end before our Shavasana finding a twist. So walk the feet together. Shift the hips over to the left side of the mat, and then allow the knees to waterfall over to the right side of the mat. Taking that left hand into a Y shape or a T shape, keeping the shoulder down on the earth and peeking over that shoulder. These twists should feel good after our back bends. Bring that extended hand back down so you can support the body as you bring the knees back up. Center the hips for a moment, and then just shift the hips in the bottom now over to that left side or right side of the mat, and knees waterfall to the left. That hand can come up into a Y or a T shape, just keeping shoulder down on the earth and peeking over the shoulder. Long, deep belly breaths. Release the hand down to support the body as we bring those knees back up to center. And then let's just straighten the legs out long, taking up space here in our final resting pose in our Shavasana. Finding that last few moments to comfort the body, to congratulate the body for showing up and taking care of yourself today. Draw in a great big inhale in through the nose. And an open mouth exhale, sigh it all out, let it all go. Inhaling. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, reach the hands over the head. Point the toes towards the base of the mat. Stretch and reach. And exhale, sigh it all out, let it go. Bend the knees once more. Rotate to the hip. And turn to your fetal position. Taking a moment, one more breath in our posture of rebirth. Use that bottom arm to support yourself as you come back up to seated. We'll close our practice just like we began, sealing it by bringing the palms together at heart center. Create some heat, some friction. And this time we'll separate the palms and press them into the heart. Thank you so much, yogis, for joining me and sharing your practice and your energy. I hope you're feeling good in the body. Namaste.